Works awesome, doesn't it? Hey everybody, my name is Will. For those who don't know me already, I am your guys' awesome, excellent MC to get you guys all hyped up. I have some really awesome announcements to make, but before we do that, you have heard some absolutely outstanding entrepreneurial stories so far this entire day. But we wanted to save two really cool stories for you guys for right now. We actually have our high school competition winner and also our graduate student winner here with us tonight. And they're going to be sharing their entrepreneurial journey with you all, which is just really cool. I've met both of them and they are absolutely outstanding and really doing really cool things. And I'm going to let them share. But the first one we have is Yasmeen. All I'm saying is Yasmeen makes probably the coolest dessert you'll ever see. It's these awesome cake pops. And she was telling me about them. And we're wondering, how do they stay on the stick? You know, all these questions like that. And they just sounded so delicious, I want to buy like 1 million of them. And so, Yasmeen's going to tell you guys her story and how she makes these awesome desserts and how she came to being the winner of our high school competition. So, if we can give a gigantic, huge GSEA welcome to Yasmeen!
Good? Awesome. Go Entrepreneurship. Okay, good evening. My name is Yasmeen. I'm the president and founder of Cake Pop Place, and tonight I have the privilege of sharing my entrepreneurial journey with you. But before I do that, I actually wanted to share a quote that I found about entrepreneurship. And it's, an entrepreneur tends to bite off a little bit more than he can chew, hoping that he can quickly learn how to chew it. And if there's anything that I figured from this is that we entrepreneurs are pretty hungry people. And I think this is true because we're hungry for the opportunity to innovate, to create, to put our ideas out there. We're hungry for the opportunity to take risks and to just follow our dreams, which I think is really cool. And I think in particular, student entrepreneurs, well, while we're trying to get our degrees, trying to graduate, we're also doing all of this with our business. So we're not letting that get in the way. So we're essentially eating our dessert before dinner. So you're probably wondering why I started. So Cake Pop Place actually wasn't the first business I wanted to start. My first science of entrepreneurship started when I was 8 years old. I had this whole plan set up. I was going to make birthday cakes for dogs. I was going to give half of the profits to animal charities for endangered species. I was going to keep half the profits. I did research on what dogs could and couldn't eat. I made recipes, but it didn't really work out since I was 8 years old. But in 9th grade, in 2011, I was able to start Cake Pop Place. And that really came to be when I found out that my school offered a Spanish immersion trip. That would allow me to go to Spain for 2 weeks, live with the host family, speak Spanish 24/7, and since I love Spanish so much, I wanted to attend this trip. So when my parents and I went to the information session, they actually told me that, they actually told me that it was a very expensive trip and that if I wanted to go, I had to raise the amount of money myself. So I decided to start Cake Pop Place. So Cake Pop Place is a specialty, is this on? Okay. Cake Pop Place is a specialty business focused on making cake pops, which are essentially balls of cake on a stick, and you'll see them later in the presentation. And I like to say that I'm a community-focused business because I like to donate to charities and to hospitals, to schools, to raffles, all these different events, and give back to the community that has supported me so much. So here are some examples of the cake pops I've made for different orders and different events. So they can be pretty simple and pretty simplistic like this, or they can be themed. So these were some of the holiday cake pops that I've made before. So in 2011, in December, on a cold day, I decided to sell my first batch of cake pops. And I went from door to door in my neighborhood trying to sell these cake pops. And it was a great experience for me because I was a very shy person, and just being able to speak to strangers that I didn't really know was a big step outside of my comfort zone, but it's really helped me become the person who I am today. So in 2011, it was a very small business, mainly family and friends. 2012, I actually made my first logo, developed my first website, having no prior coding experience whatsoever, and started at one farmer's market. By 2013, I decided that I enjoyed this so much that I wanted to go head over heels into this. So I started selling at 3 farmers markets and I did bigger community events. I expanded my menu of flavors, and today I've had the privilege of being able to get my professional logo done, have a new website, and I've even shipped my first interstate order, which I think is pretty cool. So this is a screenshot of the first page in 2012. It was a Monday night at 10 p.m., so I was probably avoiding doing my homework. And I was trying to draw my first logo. So it eventually became this. I drew this on a OneNote page on my laptop, so I thought that was pretty cool. And I made our slogan, "Indulgence in a Bite," because the cake pop is literally a bite. So I started selling at farmers markets, and funny story about the picture on the left, that was the first day of my first farmers market that I'd done. And the canopy I'm standing underneath, that's not mine. The table that I'm using, that's also not mine. The only thing that I brought to this was my cake pops, because I had no idea what I was doing. But the vendors there were all super nice, and they really helped me understand exactly what I needed to become a good vendor at these markets. So eventually I got my own stuff, and I'd stand out there for about 4 hours on a Thursday evening and about 8 hours on Saturday mornings. Here are my flavors. So the top 3 flavors are vanilla chocolate and red velvet, which are pretty traditional, pretty classic. But I decided to expand my menu when I got suggestions from different people. And a really cool story is that this is one of my first weekly customers, and her name was Melcora. And she would order a lot of cake pops from me. She was a repeat customer. And she told me, "Why don't you make rum cake pops?" So I started making rum cake pops, and I actually called them the Melcora after her. So this is her posing with the flavor sheet that says that the Melcora is the new flavor of today. So this is my current logo, and I was able to crowdsource that using the internet, and I held a competition and got hundreds of entries from all over the world. I had a money prize for that, and it was extremely difficult to choose one design, and I eventually lowered the 250 or so designs down to 3. And I asked my clients which one they liked the most, and this one was the one that they liked. Because although the target audience for cake pops is about the teenager, young adult, female group, they're for everyone. Food is for everyone. So that's why I decided to go with a logo that everyone kind of liked. So I moved on from selling at weekly farmers markets to larger shows, because it was just better time-wise, it was more affordable, and I could reach a larger audience in a very short amount of time. So these festivals and shows would usually be about 3 days, and I'd meet anywhere between 300 to 1,000 people over those 3 days. And it was a great opportunity to get my name out there. And while I would sell the cake pops, the most important part was having people know who I was, because then they'll come back and order from me for their events. So packaging has changed over the years. So at first I used to individually wrap and tie each cake pop that I would make, which was very labor intensive, but I was eventually able to get packaging so that I could sell half a dozen or a whole dozen in a tray or in a package, and made that so much easier. So I faced several challenges, and the first is probably intricate cake pop designs. Yes, those are owls with bow ties. So people will come to me with very exact designs, and it's very difficult sometimes to see my customer's vision on the cake pop. But when you can do it, when you figure a way around it, when you failed 20 times trying to make the cake pop stay on the stick, and you finally do it, that's really cool. Of course, balancing schoolwork and my extracurricular activities and running a business at the same time takes a lot of energy. So there'll be nights where I'll come home, I'll do my homework, eat dinner, keep doing my homework until about 11, then work from 11:30 to 1:30 in the morning, making cake pops for an order that's due the next day. And I think that it's completely worth it. And then another challenge is being a teenager in an adult world. So I have a story. So when I first started supplying to local coffee shops, there was one guy in particular who just took an interest in the cake pops, and I started selling to him. And we had an agreed price, but when he saw that the cake pops were really selling, he tried to lower the price. And he tried to drive it so low that I really just couldn't do it anymore, and I said, "No, I'm not selling to you anymore." And he pretty much thought that I was a naive business owner, I didn't know what I was doing because I was just 15 at the time. And I actually had to have my parents go and get the paycheck because he refused to pay me. So that's a challenge, but it makes it all worth it because you can see the smiles that they bring to everyone's faces. It's really great. Food brings people together, and when you see a customer get their cake pops that they've custom ordered ordered and they see that it's got exactly what they want, it's their vision, it's really cool to see their reaction. So in order to continue that, my future plan is to continue with the nationwide shipping to make it more affordable to ship nationwide, and eventually open a modern-style K-pop lounge, which would be a great place to hang out and, you know, eat small bites, sweet and savory, that are all inspired by the K-pop. So I've learned a lot about patience, and that comes from the first 2 months when I first tried to make K-pops and every single one would break and it wasn't working out, to standing at a farmer's market for maybe 3 hours in the bitter cold February weather and only sell 2 K-pops. Teamwork is extremely important in entrepreneurship and running a business. You cannot run a business by yourself. You need the support of your clients, your peers, your friends, and especially your family. And I really want to thank my parents for not only driving me around when I need to deliver K-pops, to dealing with me when I've had little to no sleep, just for everything that they've done for me. It's just amazing. I would not be here today if it was not for them. And then, of course, I think that the best way to learn to fail with grace is probably by running a business, because you fail so often, but you continuously get back up because you have this vision and you have this dream and you have this passion to continue your business, and that's something really important. I've also learned that you can get sick of eating K-pops. I never actually thought that was possible because I really like sweets, but that's why you have your friends, your little siblings to eat all the extra K-pops that you really just can't eat anymore. And I've also learned exactly what an entrepreneur is, and I like to say that there are dreamers, there are doers, and then there are entrepreneurs. And that's because we're both of them. We like to dream, we like to do, we like to innovate, we like to take risks. And I think that's super duper awesome. And all of you are so awesome. I've heard all of your presentations. You are all amazing people. It's so inspirational to be here. So thank you so much, and I can promise that you will see me in the entrepreneurial world, whether it be with K-pops or another business endeavor, hint, hint, secret. But thank you so much for the opportunity to speak. Thank you to the EO. Thank you to all of you. You all are amazing people. Go entrepreneurship.